guys, Ultimate Toy Collector. Today we're going to take a look at Hasbro's new 6-inch Marvel Legends Black Panther wave. Now this wave is mostly or actually it's a good split. 3 characters from the upcoming Black Panther Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and then 3 comic characters, and the Build-A-Figure is also related to the movie, which comes out in February. I think Hasbro did a really good job on these characters. Now, adding the 3 comic characters, I'll touch base on that a little bit later. But right here, you see the 6 characters. Now, you need to collect all 6 to collect the Build-A-Figure. And there's no swap outs in these boxes. So in past waves, you've had like a alternate figure or like a shared box where you'd get, let's say, Black Bolt and Namor in like the same box. These are the boxes that you're going to get. So here we have Marvel's Nakia, and you see she comes with her Build-A-Figure piece. I really do love the fact that they've updated their facial, I guess, recognition, I guess you could say, where they've done a real good job. It's a print that they started using on some of the figures last year, and we see they've continued with it. So it's definitely looks very accurate, I guess you could say. So on the back here, this is our character. Definitely can't wait to see how she is in the movie, because the character just looks badass. Now here we have a new Black Panther. This is the Black Panther movie version, which is a little different than the one that we saw previously in the Civil War wave. The only thing, I have one complaint about this figure. I don't like the face there, that they've lightened the skin on the Black Panther. I wish it was a little darker. He should be about this shade, and for some reason he's a lighter tone. Besides that, though, the face is pretty much on point, and they did a good job. The suit looks awesome. Now this is one that I really do like, Eric Killmonger. I do wish that he came with an alternate head, but nonetheless, the suit just looks incredibly badass, and hopefully maybe somewhere in 2018 we'll get a wave 2 of the Black Panther figures. All right, now here we have the Invincible Iron Man. He does come with alternate Tony Stark head. I'm not a huge fan of all the variant Iron Man armors, but I do like this armor nonetheless. Namor, the Submariner. This is an updated version on the classic look, and I do like the bearded head there. That was definitely a highlight to this figure for me, and it's a bigger body sculpt, so he looks a lot better in his classic outfit here than he did in the previous classic one that we've seen. It's actually not a few years back, it was quite a while back. And then here we have Black Bolt, the king of the Inhumans, and this one also has an alternate head, and this was previously a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and now we have it as a regular release, but with alternate head and a few little touch-ups. So that's definitely a big thing. You know, Hasbro's been trying to do that for some of the characters that were included in the San Diego Comic-Con multi-packs, trying to get them out to consumers who didn't have a chance to buy those and don't want to pay the secondary market prices, I should say. So nonetheless, this figure looks dope. And you see right here, this is going to be our Build-A-Figure. She's a character, Okoye, from Black Panther, and the same way they did Mantis from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, this is that type of Build-A-Figure. So it's a smaller Build-A-Figure, but still cool nonetheless. I do wish that they would have made the Build-A-Figure bigger, like maybe made her as like a 7th figure, and then used maybe like Man Ape as the Build-A-Figure, I think that definitely would have been really cool because you could have made a bigger character. Now, I do understand in today's society, making a black male and an ape costume might not be something that I guess Hasbro and probably Disney would want to portray, especially as a toy. Um, but that is a character in the comics, so it might have been a little more acceptable, and I think it would have went awesome with this line. All right. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, and I don't know if it was a selling point to this wave or what, but making the Black Panther wave and adding three characters in there, and I've heard other um, blogs and reviewers kind of touch on a little bit. I don't want to say it whitewashed the wave, but it kind of evens out the wave. It could have been fully devoted to the movie with a couple other characters, or you could have done a couple comic versions, like I said, Man-Ape being one of them. But these were, I guess, when you look at the Defenders, I believe, these ones do kind of mesh with this line, so that was where Hasbro was able to fill in the gaps for this. So it is acceptable. I totally agree with it? Not 100%, and I'm not trying to make this a white-black racial thing at all, because Hasbro does a great job, and I do love the Marvel Legends regardless. But I do think maybe like Iron Man or Black Bolt could have been taken out of that equation, and you could have substituted it with other comic versions of the characters. Uh, Nonetheless, I do have it. I do love this wave. Can't wait for the movie. And without hearing me run my mouth anymore, let's open these up and take a look. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at Marvel's Nakia. This is a cinematic universe figure. On the side of the box here, we have an illustration of her as she appears in the movie. And on the back, you have the figure posed up. I do think that Hasbro could have did a slightly better job with their posing, but it's all good. And down here we see all 6 figures that are needed to complete the Build-A-Figure. And then if you need, here is the UPC. You could screenshot that and take it to the store to look for whatever you need. Alright, so let's open this up. Now she comes with a few weapons. We'll get to those. I'll lay those out there. The Build-A-Figure piece and figure itself. So let's first take a look at the figure itself. As I said, Hasbro's recently upgraded their screen printing, I guess you could say, for the faces on their figures. We've seen it on, I think, like the last 2 Marvel Legends waves, and it looks phenomenal. I think they did a great job with this figure. If you look at some of the other cinematic universe figures going back a couple years, especially like the let's take for instance the Star-Lord figure from the first Guardians wave, looked horrible compared to the recent one, and if you compare that to this, it's no comparing. And the armor here, the armor, phenomenal. They definitely did a good job. So we'll take a look at it for articulation wise. So the head, we can go fully around, up and down. You can get good articulation with the neck there. Now the shoulders, obviously this arm's going to go a little higher than this one because we have her I guess shoulder pad here that kind of obstructs it, but still you can get a good range of motion. Arm up over the head, arm up over the head. Now, one thing that hasn't changed, some of the female figures, we've been kind of, I don't want to say petitioning, but we've been asking Hasbro to do the double jointed elbows. which would definitely have helped with probably some posing on this figure. And if you look at it, it kind of looks like originally the plan might have been for a double joint there, but then once it was in process, they cut that out. So this is the elbow pad. Almost looks like they thought about it, and then last minute they were like, nah. Excuse me. So here, right below the breastplate here, we can get a slight movement to the side, not fully turned, and we can get a good range of motion upwards and downwards. All right. There's no rotation at the waist, just at right under the breastplate there. Now her garb here hangs down over the crotch area, but we're able to do a split. Able to bring her down. We can get a good front kick, good back kick, not all the way, but, and then right here at the thighs we have thigh swivel on both sides, and we do have double jointed knees. So some good running and jumping poses. So that is a plus. We do have the double jointed knees. And then down here, do we have any rotation at the cuffs there? We don't have rotation at the cuffs, but we do have good range of motion with the feet and the ankles. So decent range of motion, I should say. So overall, I do like this figure as a female figure, and one of the things that I've seen a couple people do is replace the head with another head so you can make an army of female warriors, which I thought that was pretty cool. So we're going to put her here. This is the torso to our Build-A-Figure. That's going to be put off to the side. And she also has weapons. She has a spear. She has looks like a shorter spear or staff. And then she has these cool little circular gauntlet blade thingies. So we put those in her hand. These seem to be her weapon of choice, consider from the illustration that we saw on the box. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how these are used in the movie. So she's a cool female figure that we have. So we are going to set her off to the side. We're going to continue opening. This is Black Panther, the Black Panther movie version. On the side we have an illustration here on the box. Now on the back, figures posed up, and again we see all 6 figures with the Build-A-Figure, and if you need it, the UPC. He's got a pair of alternate hands. His Build-A-Figure piece is the head. He has an alternate head, and of course we're going to pop him out. So these are the pieces that he comes with. So let's take a look at him first. Now this figure is different than the Civil War wave Black Panther, I believe, and it's also different than the Walmart exclusive Black Panther with the purple suit, and the other classic comic version Black Panther that they re-released recently, where they added like the cape and a few accessories. Now I do not have the Civil War one in front of me to compare, but the suits are slightly different. One thing that I really do like about the mask is if you look, and you can definitely see it when you look up close, it really looks like a cat, like a panther. And I think that's probably the dopest thing about this armor, is the mask. I love it, and Marvel has done an excellent job. So overall, we'll take a look at the articulation, we'll take a look at the armor. One thing I want to do is pop this bad boy off. There we go. It was not too hard, but let's pop this head on. So here we go. Here is T'Challa with his alternate head. I don't know if maybe the neck on the suit is a little too long, so that's why the head doesn't look exactly proportioned. But I think the head is just slightly too small. And the one thing, like I said, that I don't like is the fact that they lighten the skin tone on him. His skin tone should be this shade, should match. I don't believe he's a lighter shade. That's probably my only complaint. As far as the face, the screen print on the face, I think they did do a good job on the screen print on the face. Let's take a look. It's not horrible. I do like Nakia's better. They could have done a little better on the screen print on the face. Now, I'm not sure, maybe that's why they lightened it, so they can get a little more detail out of it, but I probably would have rathered it be a little darker. So, I'm going to take that head off. I'm going to switch it back. All right, and take a look at the articulation. So, right here, we have great range of motion because you have the extra articulation here on the shoulders. Arms can go all the way up over the head, all the way around actually. He could do a flying, little falling pose. The head we saw, we have a good range of motion. You can get all the way up, you know, if he's flying down, falling down, where the head is not going to pop off, and you can also look down also. So right here, now we do have a bicep swivel. We do have double jointed elbows. Let's see. There we go. We have our double jointed elbows. One day Hasbro will make the females with the double jointed elbows. And we have good articulation in the wrist. He's a character based off of a panther or a cat, so he better have awesome articulation. He better be able to do crazy stuff that Spider-Man can't even do. We have an ab crunch, fully down, fully up, and we have a waist swivel. Now here at the legs, we can get a good split, good kick forward, good kick back, off to the side, and we have right here thigh swivels, upper thigh swivel on both sides. We have double jointed knees, and we have no cuts above the boot there, but we do have good ankle articulation where he can stand on his tippy toes and rotate the ankle and the foot. So excellent there. Now we have a lot of detailing in the suit. A lot. If you take a look, you can see all the lines in the suit. You can see his traditional teeth or whatever it is up here. I don't know what it's called, so don't get me on that. And then his gauntlets. Excellent detail there. Excellent detail on the back of the suit. On the lower end of the suit. On like the calf area. And on the feet. And then the claws. The claws are just phenomenal. I think that's one of the best features. The claws and the mask are the best features. Now, we also have, like I said, the alternate hands. So, pretty easy to pop off. You just pop one of these in there. There we go. So, we have two punching hands, and then we have two gripping claw hands. I'm going to switch this one back. So there we go. This is an awesome figure. Black Panther. Not overly impressed with the head sculpt, with the alternate head sculpt, but as far as the rest of the figure, I do like it. I do like the alternate hands. Now, let's put her head on her body. So this is, we are building our Build-A-Figure here. Let's take a look. Clear that up a little bit for us. There we go. The detailing on the head looks awesome. And let's continue to build her. Let's set her off to the side. And we're going to take a look at Eric Killmonger. So Killmonger is going to be the third figure in this wave. He comes with his Build-A-Figure piece. He comes with some accessories, some claws. On the side, we see an illustration of the Killmonger character from the movie. On the back, we have the figure here. We see our 6 figures with our Build-A-Figure and our UPC. Take him open. Now, I'm really looking forward to, I guess I could say, seeing Eric Killmonger in the film. All the commercials and the previews, they all look really badass. And just looking at his armor next to the Black Panther, it's a really crazy looking armor, but I love it. And one thing that I really, if we happen to see a wave 2, I would love to see like an out of armor version of both the Black Panther and Eric Killmonger. The version of him with like his shirt off and just the jacket would be dope. I mean, I don't even have words for it. But I think that would be amazing. And also, like I said, Black Panther, T'Challa, and his suit, like a tribal outfit, I think that would be cool. You know, we do have Tony Stark, and I guess who's the other one from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We do have suited versions of him. It wouldn't take much to do just a regular suited body and a better head sculpt of what we currently have, and easy figure right there. It'll be an easy money grab, Hasbro. Easy money grab. All right. So we have 2 weapons. We have alternate hands, and we have a Build-A-Figure piece. So let's take a look at the actual character here. Look at how menacing that mask looks. Phenomenal job that Marvel did with the character to make this outfit. You know, you have your Black Panther and then the anti-Black Panther, I guess you could say. Let's take a look. Now, the other thing also, I wish this came with an alternate head. But Hasbro, when you do that wave 2 and you give us the figure, the plain out of armor figure, then we'll get that alternate head, right? All right, so articulation wise, you can get a good look up, or if he's flying outwards or down, and good look down. Now, I do have a little clicking. He's a little tighter than the Black Panther, because you can hear that little click there, but we do have the ab crunch, so we're able to get a crunch down, crunch up, or backwards. Now, body type is very similar to the Black Panther character. We have the extra articulation in the shoulders here, almost like the Spider-Man, Pizza Spidey, and other Spider-Man figures where we got that extra range of motion because we have the articulation there. All right, arms up over the head, around, great articulation, very articulated. We have the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and got the extra rotation in the wrist there. And we also have the other hands, so we could pop, let me see, pop this one off, and I can just slide this one right in there. So we have two hands like this, and two more open hands, which would be, you know, like swiping, scratching hands, you know, if they're fighting. Now, so the ab crunch, we have waist swivel, and good articulation there. Very similar to Black Panther. We have the thigh cut, and we have double jointed knees. Now we get down to the ankles here, and same articulation. Now, Eric seems a little stiffer than the Black Panther figure, which I like. I don't know if it's maybe the plastic that was used on that one versus this one, but I don't know, something about this character I really do like, and I do like the armor. So Hasbro, make a wave 2 so we can get that alternate head in there. So put him here. Like I said, he's got the hands, and he also has 2 weapons. And here we have a leg, so I could just connect that to, hopefully I don't have to heat this up or anything. It should just pop right in there. Alright, so there we go. Had to kind of wiggle it in a little bit. Blow dryer probably would have been a little better, would have popped in a little smoother, but nonetheless, now we have first leg, so we could hopefully stand her up soon. So I'll put that there. Now let's take a look at our next figure. Slide this out. This is the Invincible Iron Man. This is one of his new armors and comes with his alternate head there. And it looks like a little blaster piece, a little shoulder cannon. We have an illustration on the side. On the back here, the figure posed up. We see all 6 figures with the Build-A-Figure. And here's the UPC for the Invincible Iron Man. Now, Iron Man is the one figure that does not, we do not require Iron Man to build the Build-A-Figure. Iron Man is more or less just an extra. Now, the armor is pretty cool. It's a very, I guess, basic design. Now, just as a suggestion, I do wish if we were going to include Iron Man in this Black Panther wave, maybe we could have used, what's her name? I think Riri Williams, the new female Iron Man, the black female. She would have been a better choice, but I know we do need cash grabs. For some of the kids who don't recognize the other characters, they will recognize Iron Man. That is why we see Iron Man and other characters, Iron Man, Captain America, Spidey, repeatedly in a lot of the waves, because as collectors, we might collect the other characters, but the kids, surprisingly, will collect these. So, alright, so as far as the armor, let's see, we can pop the head off pretty smooth. And we put Tony Stark's head on there. That's a pretty cool Tony Stark head. This is a more comic accurate Tony Stark, so you're not getting the Robert Downey Jr. look, but you could still probably pop him onto some of the other Iron Man characters that we've previously had. Now, his hand here, we do have the other hands. We can put the blast effects in it, so you can kind of help him fly. Let's put that in there. If you want to use it as a blast effect, or you want to use it, he's just kind of standing there, hovering in the air, talking to Black Panther, Namor, or Black Bolt. You can do that. You can also put it forward. Looks pretty cool. And we can take it out also. Now, one thing I was curious of, and it actually, yeah, there you go. It doesn't look bad putting it in his boots like that. So, again, you can make him kind of like hovering. If you have a flight stand, you just make them on your display like that, which is a pretty cool little look. Definitely kudos to Hasbro for including the effects like that and the alternate hands. It's definitely a step up in their game. So they are slowly hearing consumers and trying to see what is cost effective to add into the packages, the alternate heads, alternate hands, obviously to stay competitive with like Figure Arts and a couple of the other companies. They do have to add some of these little features, which if you remember back in the day, we always used to have, the characters always came with some type of special little gimmick, which we've gotten away from, which is cool because you don't really want like the kung fu kicking, Black Panther or the arm throwing Iron Man, so these little pieces, clip-on pieces are cool. The kids like them, but it still gives the adult collector a little bit of something. All right. So here we go. We have the armor here. As far as the range of motion and this figure is a little tight. I don't know if it's all right. So it's really just a joint here. Word of advice: if you guys right out of the package, maybe put a little blow dryer on them because the shoulders are very stiff on this Iron Man. I don't know if it's mine or if it's all of them, but I think maybe the piece up here has something to do with it, the way it's packaged. But my shoulders are very stiff. All right, we're able to put the arms down, up over the head, all the way around. Even with the Tony Stark head on, you're able to get a good range of motion. Now, we also have somewhat of an ab crunch. Actually, no, we have a full ab crunch. So even with the armor, we have full ab crunch, which is great, I think. Get a little clicking noise. And we do have a waist swivel. Spin them all the way around. Legs, you can do almost full split. Kick forward, kick out to the side, and kick back. Now we also have thigh swivel here, thigh cut. A little tight, but work it a little bit, you should be fine. And we have double jointed knees. Again, for some good posing, good jumping, flying, falling. And with the ankles, good rotation there with the ankles. So overall, articulation in most of the characters is pretty similar, and not a bad version of Iron Man. Like I said, I'm not one for the whole armored or hall of armor, I guess you could say, for having Iron Man, but he is pretty cool. Now, you do not need him to complete your Build-A-Figure, so just throwing that out there. All right, so you have your head here, and the paint's pretty smooth on that. The extra head, no real blotchiness there, so they did a good job. So we'll put our extra pieces there and our blast effect. Now, next up is Namor the Submariner in his classic look. He's got alternate hands, alternate head, of course his trident, and he's got the arms to our Build-A-Figure. On the side here, we have illustration on the box, figure posed up. All 6 figures take the Build-A-Figure, and our UPC here. Take his arms out. So even though we just recently got a Walgreens exclusive Namor the Submariner, that was more of his current look. This is more of his classic look, and it's been a while since we've had a classic Submariner. The last time that we had one was probably the Fantastic Four wave. That was probably the last time we saw a classic version. So this is on a different body. It's a bigger body, more muscular. I think it looks great. It's not a little scrawny version, but he still has got his green little tighty whities, and he's got his little flying ankle feet. Now, this is the classic head here, and we can pop that off and give him a more bearded look. I do like the bearded look. Why? I guess it might be my beard. And if you look closely, Tony Stark and Namor almost looks similar. It looks like they took the overall basic head there and just sculpted the hair a little different, a little skin tone, and gave him a little beard. Although this one looks different, even though it's probably the same. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look at the body. Good detailing. He's pretty ripped. He hits the gym and works out with the sharks and the whales nonstop. I think Namor might be able to kick Aquaman's ass, at least on the toy version. In the movies, I think Jason Momoa might put a hurting on him. Anyway, so here, articulation, good in the neck, easy to pop on and off. The arm is a little tight. This arm is a little tight, but if you press it, you can get them up right there, up over the head, all the way around. So you also have a bicep swivel here, and we have double jointed elbows. And again, with the wrist, good articulation with the wrist. Now we can also easily snap the hands off and replace it with that hand. So put some baby powder on him, and you can get his bitch smack on. Now I'm just playing. So we know sometimes when he swims, he gets a little good pose there. All right, so here we have ab crunch, good ab crunch, waist swivel. Articulation basically the same with all the figures. Thigh cut, double jointed knee. Now he does have a boot cut and good articulation with the feet and the ankles. I think it's interesting that he has the little boot cut here, but some of the other figures don't, like Black Panther. Nonetheless, I think Submariner, Namor, they did a good job, especially with his classic look. Now I do like the bearded look. We'll make him hold his trident. All right, so one of the hands is kind of sealed shut, or it's very tight, I should say. But he is able to hold his trident in this hand, so that's a good thing. So we can definitely put it there. Put him right in front of Tony Stark there. His head and his hands will go back there. And so now let's take a look here, and we will see. Now to build a figure, we got to just adjust some of these pieces here. All right, so it kind of felt like the arms, kind of had to play with the arms a little bit because they were kind of turned. I think this is the right way because the shoulder pad definitely has to go to the outside. Now that was very tight getting in there. Again, you might want to use a blow dryer just to kind of heat those up a little bit. There we go. All right, so now we have her arms. And she's coming along slowly but surely. We just need her one other leg. And the last piece to that puzzle is right here with Black Bolt. Now again, this was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and they are re-releasing him so that the general consumer can get him instead of buying the convention set. And he comes with the last piece to the Build-A-Figure there with the alternate head. So again, on the side we have illustration Black Bolt. Got the figure posed up, all 6 figures, and the Build-A-Figure. And right here we have the UPC. Open that up, pop that out. So here we have the King of the Inhumans, alternate head here. Now, one thing that I've seen people post about was it looked like they were saying that Black Bolt, they had messed up in the factory with the figure. So first, let's make an adjustment here. All right, so I want to get the arm straight and see if there were any mistakes. So people were saying that the cuffs were put on wrong. I guess right here on the wrist. To me, it doesn't look like it's an issue. I think the cuffs are supposed to have the piece on the outside. And if you, all right, so here, turn the wrist there, put him here, and it doesn't look like it's really an issue on there. I think the opening is supposed to go to the back. Now you are able to rotate it, so just hold. I think you're able to rotate it. All right, so maybe not, but as long as you're able to turn the fist there, looks like I have a right and left fist, so I'm not going to complain. Now again, this figure, the arms are very tight on him, so I will probably apply the blow dryer to him because the way he's packaged, he's in a very stiff position with the arms up, so it might make the joints a little tighter. Now he does look like he's of smaller stature than Namor, so this was the smaller buck, and I do like the little bulkier buck here for Namor. Put it right next to each other. Now I do like the alternate head. It does look like he's throwing up some Colgate there. And you got the little spark effect coming out of his head. We know he's more like the silent killer. So I'm going to take that head off, put the other head on, and I dropped it. There we go. Now his head was probably the only one that really gave me a little issue, but I did get it on, so there we go. All right, now let's take a look at the articulation. Arms up over the head, down to the side, upwards. You can get pretty good poses with him. As far as the paint, actually on all the figures, the paint's very smooth. No bleeding or running of the paint on any of the figures. So Hasbro has stepped up their quality control with that. At least with this batch that I'm seeing. Now we have our bicep swivel. We have our double jointed elbows. Right here at the wrist, like I said, I was able to turn this piece just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just enough. And the articulation with the hands. Get a swivel and a little pivot there. So not too bad. Head up and down, and we have an ab crunch. Good range of motion, and we have waist swivel there. Same as with the other characters, front, back, side. And we also have thigh swivel here. Double jointed knees, and we have a boot cut and good articulation with the ankle. So this is a good figure to see hitting the mass market, because we can finally get Black Bolt, one of the Inhumans. Obviously, he fits into Marvel's, what Marvel's doing there with, I want to say, getting rid of some of the mutants and making the Inhumans the new mutants for Marvel. Don't 100% agree with it, but that is some of the storylines, And here we have our last Build-A-Figure piece. So, very tight getting that on, but nonetheless, she is complete, and we can give her her spear, and even, let's see, on the back, let's take a look. All right, so on the back here, she has the longer spear. So just got to get that through her hand there. And get this figure in here. So overall, we have 7 figures from this wave, including the Build-A-Figure. And I think Hasbro did a great job. As I said, let me move Nakia over to the side so we can see her. All right. So, as I said, I do wish that maybe we would have had a little more focus on the Black Panther movie wave and added, 1 or 2 extra characters in there, and maybe like a comic book version instead of adding these 3. But nonetheless, these are 3 cool characters that they did, adding the extra head, the extra hands, and updated versions. So it's not 100% a wrong move, and I'm sure they'll help sell the line nonetheless. But I hope Hasbro does have a second wave in store. We will see soon with Toy Fair 2018 coming up. And thank you for checking me out, guys. I know this video is a little longer than most of the videos, but I wanted to open all of them under one video. So thank you, guys. Thanks for checking me out. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, The Ultimate Toy Collector. Check out Cool Dad Pop Culture Reviews, obviously Toy News International. And we have plenty of videos coming up with a bunch of awesome products and Toy Fair coming up. So like the video, share it, leave me a comment. No, it's longer than usual, but I hope this is a little more in depth. And let me know what you think about this wave. All right, thank you guys. Until next time, happy hunting.